Hello everyone. Hello from Thailand. Hello from My Stories live video. And I'm Monk John. I'm a Theravada Buddhist monk, and today we are going to cover the topic how a Buddhist monk deal with loneliness. How are you today? I hope everyone is doing fine, and maybe you can share with me where you're from. Could you please type your name in the comments? Your name, where you're from. If you have any questions, you can also share with me as well. And I hope this topic today is very useful to you, because we face these problems a lot these days about dealing with loneliness. Why? Okay, so let me share with you about the structure of the life. First, I'm going to talk about the definition of loneliness and about 5 signs that we can use to evaluate ourselves if we're feeling lonely or not. And after 5 signs that I share with you, we're going to talk about how to overcome loneliness and how a Buddhist monk like me overcome the feeling of loneliness. And we are going to cover a special part, like how meditation can also be used to overcome loneliness. Okay? So if you just arrived, let me have a look. I see quite a few people here. And hello, Ping Wang. We have Ping Wang here, and I'm not really sure where you're from. I mean, where are you right now? I know that you're from either China or from the US. Okay. So I think this is also the night time in the other part of the world. So probably I have to say good evening or buenas noches. ¿Cómo están? Muy bien. Yo estoy muy bien. Gracias. So if you just arrived, this is a live program. We're going to talk about loneliness and what do we do in order not to make ourselves feel lonely. All right? I hope if you find this topic useful for you, or maybe people that you love, that you care about, please consider share this video with them. Okay? And I'm pretty sure today we're going to cover very interesting stories about loneliness. If you just arrived, please greet me with your name, where you're from, if you have any questions, if you have any doubts. If you want me to answer anything at the end of the program, let me know, okay? So, first we're going to talk about the definition of loneliness. Today I have pretty cool gadget, right? This is the very traditional tablet, okay, very useful for me. So I'm going to write something. Okay, so loneliness. Right. So, okay, I'm missing an E here. The definition of loneliness first, okay? Just arrived. Please let me know where you're from, and we have already Sandra and Ping Wang. Loneliness first. Lack of friends. E-N-D. Lack of friends. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, the first definition of loneliness is we don't have friends. We don't have people around us. That might be true because we are like socialized species, and we need people to be around us. And if we do not have anyone around, we feel lonely. So that's definitely very, very common definition we all know about, right? According to Merriam-Webster, loneliness means being without company, cut off from others, or feeling sad of being alone. So that's the first definition. The second definition, not enjoy what you have. Okay? So, it means that even though you have a lot of friends, like how many friends do you have on Facebook? I'm pretty sure you have more than 100 friends on Facebook. Is that enough already? Or do you think that you need more? Do you still feel lonely? Let me ask you one question. Please help me. Type in the comments. Are you feeling lonely at the moment? And how often? Please, don't be shy, okay? Well, if you ask me, I'm also feeling lonely sometimes, but of course not every day, okay? So if you want to help me make this life more interesting, more interactive, please share with me. Are you feeling lonely sometimes, and why? What's the reason you're feeling lonely? Is that the same? Anything more than the first one, lack of friends, and second, not enjoy what you have, what you're having at the moment, okay? So these are definitions I take from dictionary. We have Tanya from Honduras, we have Ping Wang from China and from the US, and also we have Sandra from Colombia. Thank you. Muchas gracias for joining today's live program, okay? So this is the definition I take from dictionary. And I'm going to cover the 5 signs. Today we have very, very nice gadget, okay? It's a tablet that you can write many times you want. There's no problem. I don't have to worry about battery at all. It's pretty cool, this one. So 5 signs that you might be lonely. Okay, could be 6, could be 7. Please share with me, what about your signs? What do you think that if you have these signs, you're feeling lonely, okay? So, first thing I'm going to cover is your health. Your health. Basically, we as human beings, we have the body and the mind, and this seems to be connected. And the loneliness is our feeling, right? So, we even though we have some friends, or even though there might be still people around us, but we might be feeling lonely. And that feeling doesn't just hurt our mind, but it hurts the bodies as well. So there's many researches saying that if you feel lonely, in the night, you might not be able to fall asleep nicely. So according to a research, studies shows that people who are lonely, depressed, or isolated are 3 to 5 times more likely to die prematurely. Wow, so this is not about only health, but even life. So people who are feeling lonely, they have like frustrations the whole time. Their body feels not very nice, tired. They might not have good sleep. And you know, when you don't have good sleep for a few days in a row, you probably feel very, very frustrated with yourself, with your body, with the state of the mind, right? According to a research, there are like thousands of people conducted in this research, and many of them have sickness, like not being able to sleep nicely in the night, okay? Hello, Julio. I'm not sure if that's Julio or Julio. I asked you last time, but there's no way to confirm yet from Indonesia. So today, we already covered about the definitions of loneliness. First, loneliness means that you don't have friends. Or second, loneliness means that you don't feel content of what you're having. And the signs. Now, 5 signs that you might be lonely at the moment. The first sign is your health. You can't fall asleep. You feel you got sick very easily, or you don't feel very content. So that is not only physical health, but mental health as well. And I even talk about the statistic about that if people who feel lonely can 3 to 5 times die prematurely than those who have healthy relationship. And one thing that we learn about loneliness is the word relationship, healthy relationship. We need to make sure that this is healthy, right? This is healthy. So, good morning or good evening from the other part of the world. Just arrived, please share with me your name, your expectation, and answer me one simple question. Have you ever felt lonely lately? Or are you feeling lonely at the moment? And why? What's your reasons of feeling lonely? Is that because one of the 2 reasons I gave you? First, you don't have friends. Or second, you have so many friends, but you feel not content with your situation. Anyway, what is your possible cause of feeling lonely? Okay? So that's the first thing, that you don't feel content. Julio, thank you, Julio. Thank you for sharing. So the first signs is your health, especially your sleep. If you can't fall asleep very easily, if you feel like your health is not very consistent, maybe you're feeling lonely. Okay, maybe you're feeling lonely. The second sign is I'm going to cover that you need more warmth. You need more warmth. It's like you craving for something, craving for something more, for something, okay? Something more. This is a tablet for a wise mind because you can't make mistakes. No Microsoft Word is going to correct your misspelling for you. Okay, so you need to crave for more warmth. There's one interesting statistic saying that people who are lonely spend more time in the bathtub, spend more time in the shower. I was laughing a little bit when I saw this statistic. Really? It means that I'm not that lonely because I usually take a very quick bath, like not more than 15 minutes. So if you are one of those people who spend more time in the bath, maybe 2 hours, maybe either you enjoy the bath too much or you're feeling lonely, you need to stay in the warmth. Is that your case? Please share with me, okay? Share with me. So you need to spend more warmth. There is a research conducted with 51 students, college students. And this research says that if those who feel lonely tend to linger in the shower longer. Wow, that is published in 2012 in the Journal of Emotion. So that's for real. I'm not just covered the thing up. So this is for real. It's nice to know, right? So if you are those who take longer bath or maybe a longer shower, either you crave more warmth, you're really feeling lonely at the moment, or you enjoy it very much, right? But for me, that is not my sign. So, sorry, this is the second sign. But I'm going to cover the third one. The third one is, can you guess? Can you possibly guess what could be signs of feeling lonely? Okay, please type in the comment. Is that I think you can possibly guess the next one I'm going to talk about, the third one. Can you guess what is going to be the third sign of feeling lonely? Okay, the third sign of feeling lonely. Anyone? Being bored. No, signs. This is like, yes, of course, being bored is one of the things, but that's not the third one I'm talking about at the moment. Thank you, Ping Wang. Thank you anyway for your suggestions. The third one is can't live without what? Come on. Can't live without. I'm sorry if my handwriting, I'm not really used to writing on this tablet very much. It's pretty cool, you can make any mistakes, you can rewrite many times you want, and you don't even need battery or power at all. That's pretty cool. Can't live, and it's huge. Wow, that's even larger than the largest iPad. Can't live without. The answer is mobile phone. Mobile phone. There is another research, and this research asks people, what are you going to choose? Either being with some friends or leaving their mobile phone behind. And do you know what many people will choose? I don't remember that number, but according to the research, many people choose to stay with their mobile phone. What about you? Which one do you want to stay? If I ask you to pick for 3 days, okay, for 3 days, suppose that you have to stay for 3 days, and you have two choices. Either you stay with the friends that you meet every day, or second, you stay with only your mobile phone alone in your house, in your room, and you can't meet anyone. What will you choose? Please share with me. Tell me, okay? Again, if I ask you to choose, first, you stay with your friends, but no mobile phone. We take out your mobile phone. Or second, we let you choose mobile phones, but there's no friends. You have to stay alone. Which one will you choose? Okay, first choice, no doubt, Ping Wang. By the way, do you know that Ping Wang has ever stayed in a retreat where she had no access to mobile phone 2 times. First time for 2 weeks, second time for 3 weeks. Actually, many times. I know that she stayed like that many times with me. I was a teaching monk. She didn't have any access to mobile phone, and she was happy. So it's really possible. It means that if we tend to value our time with like mobile phone a lot, and we don't care about the real world friends, that is a sign we might be lonely because we don't really feel content with the relationship, with the warmth that we have, that we are having, the feeling. We don't feel content. We're craving for maybe something else, like the happiness, something that fulfill our need, something that fulfill our craving, right? From far away, maybe from YouTube, from Facebook, but not from people who are around us. So this is another sign. Anyone who are like this? Yes, many people choose their friends, mobile phone. Congratulations. This is not the sign, your sign that you're feeling lonely at the moment. That is pretty cool, okay? So next time, maybe you can consider yourself on a retreat with people who are really close to you on a trip, maybe on a trip. And most of the time, you won't spend on your mobile phone. It's not like you go for a vacation, and most of the times, you just take photos for your friends far away on Instagram, and you don't actually care people who are together with you on the trip. Interesting, right? So the third sign, we covered already 3 signs. I said 5 signs that shows you probably are lonely at the moment. And if you Google on the internet, there are like people, they have a very long list, like 10 signs or 5 signs. I group them together and just come up with only 5 signs. The first sign is your health, like you can't fall asleep in the night. Or even many people, research says that 3 to 5 times, if people are lonely, they could die prematurely faster than people who really, I intended to say earlier that people who feel connected and not lonely and they feel happy. Okay. The second sign is that you tend to crave more warmth, and this craving for something more is not just like and the research that I share with you is the time that they spend on bathtub, right? If people the research says that 55% of college students they survey tend to spend time in showering, in taking a bath longer than those who feel the love, that those who feel connected. But this is not only the thing. There is a research saying that they could even tend to eat more, like their body is chubbier, because they prefer themselves to be on a couch watching televisions in the night than to hang out with friends and family. If we take a look at this one, well, they say that people who are more sociable tend to have their body in shape. Do you agree with this? Or I heard from another person that if you are more sociable, you go out a lot, then you have to eat a lot. But then there's a debate. They say that, oh, if you go out a lot, then you probably will want your body to be in shape. So what do you think about this one? Do you really do you gain more weight if you go out a lot and you hang out with friends more? Or do you tend to keep your body in shape because you want to be in shape and show your friends and show the world that you look great? What do you think? What is your opinion? Okay, that's the second one. And the third one, you can't live with mobile phone. Huh? And we already get some comments that people they choose the friends over the mobile phone. So it means that people who are watching this live, most of them are not lonely because of that. And fourth, some people prefer second life. What is this second life about? Second Life is the name of a video game, but the second life I'm talking about is the cyber life. It's like people tend to have quite a few identities. In the past, they may have even more than one person or more than one identity, but they don't enjoy the first or the real world identity. But these days, you might compare this with like games or The Sims or something like that. Okay, so if you prefer to have the second life more than the first life, you prefer to have more virtual friends more than your physical friends. Like, how many friends do you have on Facebook? Share with me, okay? How many friends you have? I'm sure most of you have more than 100 friends. I'm pretty sure, okay? Anyone who have less than 100 friends? But it's not about quantity, right? The best is quality. If we have an amount of quality friends, probably only 5 of them is enough in our life. So share with me, how many friends do you think how many quality friends, how many good friends, how many true friends do you think that you need in your life? Like 100 or 5 or just 1? Maybe you can type in the comments, right? How many friends? Do you feel that is enough in order to make you stop feeling lonely, right? So second life, you prefer the second life more than the first identity. You might be feeling lonely. If not now, easily, later on. According to Facebook, users spend more than 50 minutes a day on that platform, Facebook and Instagram in combination. How many hours do you spend on Facebook and Instagram? Share with me, okay? Share with people who are in these lives as well. How many friends? sorry, how many hours, how many, I'm going to say hours, how many hours do you spend on Facebook and Instagram? Like, Derek, Derek, are you saying that you spend more than 7 hours on Facebook and Instagrams? Jamaris, 2 hours. Thank you for your sharing. And Jamaris, she has, right? Oh, he actually, I'm sorry, he has 154 friends, right? And Derek, you have 2,581 friends. That's huge, that's a lot. Do you feel that those are the number of quality friends that you probably need, or you want more, or you want less, or you need less? So according to research, the signs number 4 that we tend to if we don't enjoy our first identity, if we don't enjoy our first life and we enjoy a second life more, then we might be feeling lonely more than others. That's very interesting. And sign number 5, okay, number 5, you value something else more than relationship. What does it supposed to mean? You value something else more than real world relationship, more than love, for example. The research says that many people, they tend to spend their time outside of their working. Or many people, they said nearly half of the US workers check email even after they leave their work, and 45% work during non-business hours, according to the survey last 2 years in 2016. And this is the case that even though the time that they're supposed to share with their family, their friends, they still prefer something else. It's like prefer their work, prefer their success. So that could be success over money, over fame, more than relationship. So the connection that you have with other people in society is not because of love. It's not because of the warmth that you want from them, but that's because of something else, like money, or success, or fame, or some other things. So if you prefer this over this, then you might be prone to loneliness more than those who really care about other people. So it covers already 5 signs. Okay, number 1, your health. And if you don't feel healthy, if you get sick very easy, especially if you can't fall asleep easy in the night, you might be feeling lonely more than those who feel the warmth from their relationship, the love. And second, those who really, the signs number 2, that we tend to crave for more warmth. and a research that I shared with you was, even in the bathtub, people who feel lonely spend more time in showering or in the bathtub more than those who feel that relationship is healthy. Or even research, I asked you earlier, right, that whether you agree with me or agree with the research says that you tend to crave for more warmth, or even you eat more if you feel lonely, more than those who are more sociable, that they spend their time going maybe to parties with their friends. They tend to be more in shape. What do you think about this? I think you have seen that one on quite a few movies, where the protagonists of the movie, when they stay alone, instead of being very skinny, they gain more weight because they don't really care how people will look at them, right? And once they started to go out again and meet with people and enjoy their life, they tend to be a little bit skinnier or even better, having better shape. So number three, okay? Number three, mobile phone. If you prefer mobile phone, these days it has to be this one, more than your friends. And research asks a group of students if they will choose to have their phone over friends in the next few days. And many students, unbelievably, chose to have their phone, okay? And number four, you prefer to have the second life more than the first life. This is very close to the third one, except that you don't actually need to only have the phone, but this could be related to gaming. For example, people who do gaming very much, and they even prefer to spend their money or their time buying items on the second life. Or these days, people, they really spend a lot of money on just something that potentially fulfill their need over the internet. Just some, even people in my country, they spend a lot of money buying items from games just to make them, oh wow, I'm the best, I'm number one in the world. So that's the second life I'm talking about. And number five, people tend to value something else more than their relationship, either success, money, or fame. So if you fall into one of these, or maybe more, then these are the signs you might be feeling lonely at the moment. If I'm missing something, please correct me, okay? Type in the comments. I'm reading comment at the moment. Sandra, she mentioned that she had over 1,250 friends, but very few close friends. Yes. And Jamarius, you said that, how do you overcome number five? As he tried to focus on himself, and he focused less on relationships. Biggest concern is rushing to something, and he felt maybe he feel unhappy down the line. The thing is that it's not about the number of people that you have in your life. It's not about the amount that you have, but it's about the quality. It means if you have a true friend, just one might be enough. A friend that you can share everything with him or with her. And that's why many people choose to have, or they're searching for marriage, to have a perfect couple just to fulfill their need. So because they feel that just one person is enough, right? Especially if you get married, for example, that potentially will prevent you from being friends with 1,000 people. Because of course, if you get married, for example, you probably need to spend 50% more than that of your attention on just one person, or maybe your family in the future as well. So it's not about the amount of people that you have in your life. It's not about how many Facebook friends that you have, but it is about how many quality friends, how many true friends that you have in your life. And I ask you, do you think how many friends you probably will need? And many of you say just one people, just two people, that would be enough, right? So, Nobody Wants to Be Lonely. That's a song from Ricky Martin. I probably guess that many of you who are watching this live can sing this song. Can you sing this song? Nobody Wants to Be Lonely. That's very, very long time ago, right? Many years ago. The lyric says, nobody wants to be lonely. Nobody wants to cry. My body is longing to hold you so bad it hurts inside. So loneliness is a feeling. It's a feeling. So this is what we call loneliness. So loneliness means that there is a hole in your heart. Suppose this is your heart. Wow, that's pretty cool. I think I should use different color. So I'm going to make it orange. I was expecting for something like pink, but there's no pink chalk here, only orange. And that's fine, right? This is your heart. But there is a hole inside the heart that is probably large enough. So the heart cannot hold the happiness. And you need to have something, someone, some places, or some animals in order to fill the hole. This is happening when we feel lonely. We feel that our heart cannot hold the amount of happiness that we possibly gain in our life. If you gain this amount of happiness, of course, that potentially will be depleted in no time. But if you have this amount of happiness, can you be lonely? That's another question. Let me share with you my experience. I went to study in Norway. Before that, I never felt really lonely at all because I felt that my life was fine. I was good. I had so many friends. I had so many things that I needed. And one day in 2003, I, for the first time, went to stay alone in a country that is very, very far away. And I got to make friends very quickly. But of course, that is in a different environment and not Thai friend. I didn't speak Thai languages as I used to. I would say that the very, very first days, everything was so nice. People really helped me a lot, and they shared me love. They really cared about me. They even tried to check on me the whole time. If I was doing fine over the weekend, they took me out. They took me to mountains. They took me for skiing, and I struggled a lot on skiing. But not as a monk. That was before my ordination, when I was doing my PhD. After the first month, I felt really, really, really lonely. That loneliness came after a few weeks. Why? The friends in Thailand, I still have them. Even though it's kind of far away, we didn't meet each other every day, but we still have time. We talk over Skype, on those days there's no Facebook, emails and stuff. But I still feel lonely. So loneliness is not just about, it's not just about you having hole in your heart. Because at that time, I didn't have any hole in my heart at all. Everything was pretty much fulfilled. Everything is pretty much completed. But loneliness is about habit. I was not be able to feel or to think what I used to think, what I used to feel, with whom I used to talk to anymore. So somehow loneliness is not just that circumstances you're facing, but it is about habits. Habits are what? Habits are feeling, or the way you think, the way you speak, the way you do your actions. You've been doing every day in your life, and you can't do them. And you feel like something is missing. So that thing is your habits. If you've been doing something in life and you can live without them for a while, there's no problem, you feel that you don't miss anything, then you They are not really your habits. Let me ask you a question. Can you miss a day without brushing your teeth? Can you do that? Now you have to confess. That's the sin. Can you live your day without brushing your teeth? That's a sin, right? You have to confess to me. Jamil say absolutely. I hope that's the answer to another question. Questions again. Can you live a day? Can you spend your day without brushing your teeth? I hope most of you, the answer is no, right? And if you can't live your day without brushing your teeth is your habit. The way we've been talking to people, the way we were interacting with our family, the way we were doing our work, maybe walking in the park, maybe spending time in our perfect couch, if we can't do them, even though your heart didn't have any hole, it's going to crack, and eventually that will become a hole later on. So loneliness is not just about the situation, because the time that I was in Norway, everything was not bad at all. Everything was perfectly fine. That's one of the best countries to live in the world. So why didn't I feel content? Why is it missing my friends, right? I think you feel the same thing. If you ever live abroad for maybe a few days, not few days, few weeks. I was going to say few weeks. Very first day, the excitement that you have over the place, over your journey, is going to cover the crack in your heart. But after a few days, when the excitement of the place started to be lower, and you don't actually care anymore about different roads, or the bridges, or the churches, or the mountains, and all the food, you don't feel that excitement anymore, then the crack in your heart is going to be more visible, and you're going to feel very, very, very lonely, right? Have you ever felt such a way? What's your answer? Jamaris, Derek, or Kopal? So loneliness is how we cannot stand of being without our routine, people that we used to have. If I put it this way, having a healthy relationship will not prevent you from being lonely ever in your life, right? Having everything you need, even though you have quality relationship, even though you have your family, everyone loves you, even though you have good job and you can spend your time properly, your day is very much balanced. There is no guarantee at all that in your life you never ever feel lonely again, right? What if one day you have to stay far away from people? Will you be lonely? Like in my case, I was having everything I needed. My life was pretty much fulfilled before I went to study abroad on my own. Of course, during the time I was studying abroad, the very first week, everyone helped me a lot. And I really enjoyed the nature. I really enjoyed the beauty of the new nation. But why after a few weeks, I felt really, really lonely. At that time, I was also a monk, right? I was even crying, That's because loneliness is also because of our habits. They say all habits die hard. The habits that we have been doing, even though according to a theory from Dr. Maxwell Maltz, that if you do something new for more than 3 weeks in a row, then you form a new habit. But why? After a month of doing something new, I was still feeling very lonely. It's because the habits die hard. I'm not sure if you can see that. Habits die hard. Okay, I will write it again and make it bigger. all habits die hard. Okay, so this is, I will name this tablet a mindful tablet because you can't make any misspellings. It's not like, iPad or Microsoft Word. If you write something wrong, then they correct for you. But this is a mindful tablet. Very good technology. Right. So because of that, here comes the third conclusion. Okay, we have three conclusions about the habits. First, there's a hole in our heart and we feel like we're missing something. Hole in our heart, in the heart. And let's feel like we're missing something. That's the first conclusion. The second conclusion, there is a crack because of habit. Because of habits. And third, because of expectation. Even though you had everything, but one day, whatever you have is not going the way you expect them to be. You could be lonely, For example, that really happen a lot when you lose your purpose of doing something, of working, of living your life. Suppose that you have good family, suppose you have good work, everything is going very, very well, you have good relationship, but one day your job doesn't go very well. It's like you feel the job disappoint you, or maybe the result of your project or your company doesn't satisfy you anymore. So you don't actually have anything to meet up your expectation. The quality relationship you had, will that help you, prevent you from feeling lonely? To some extent, I would say, right? If you have good people around you, then you might be less prone to feeling lonely. That's for sure. But so many people, they still feel lonely to some extent. Why? Because they have sometimes the blame. They blame themselves. Why the world is doing this to me? Why they're on earth, what situations whatsoever is doing this to me? So if you start blaming yourself that way, like the world doesn't live and make it up to your expectation, no matter how many friends, how many quality friends, you probably have hundreds of good friends, that is not going to be enough because you're going to feel like you are betrayed by the world. So that expectation is really, really the true enemy and the real cause of us feeling lonely. So we expect something to be this way, but it goes that way, and we keep blaming ourselves. At that time, when you start blaming yourself, you start rejecting love from people. So the love that people are trying to give to you, that they care about you, doesn't go right to your heart anymore, right? You have any friends or any family members that you try to cheer up, you try to provide your love, encouragement, that they don't care about you anymore, right? I think we might come across this feeling because they have expectation. Any comments? Am I missing anything? So again, three things that we learn as a conclusion from loneliness. First is there's a hole in our heart, and second, because of our habits, and third, because expectation that we have. Then, what do we have to do? Because of that, I'm going to make a summary, okay? Find true friends, the first thing that we need to do in order, okay, the first thing that we need to do in order to prevent us from being lonely is to have true friends, quality friends. It's not about how many good friends you have, but it is about the quality. Okay, if you have any good friends, you have any true friends, when your feeling is going down, they give you support. You feel that you're not being alone, you're not being betrayed. There's something, people that you can trust, and that's the only thing that you can depend on the environment. You know, things are not going to go the way you wanted them to be the whole time. Your whole situation, the whole world, your job, like the economics, politics. But if you still have some good friends, you should be fine to some extent. That's the first thing. The second thing is understand the purpose of what you're doing. Understand the purpose of life and what you're doing. So you don't actually have any more questions. Why am I doing this? Sometimes when we have these questions in our heart, in our mind, we might feel like, yeah, but we should be doing something else. Maybe it's like when I was in Norway studying. What am I doing this? Am I doing my PhD? But for what? Shouldn't I spend more time with my family, with my friends, with something I used to do? You know, if that thing happened because I forgot to come back to the purpose. And how do we monks actually deal with this? We have to come back to the purpose. As a rule of, in the monastic communities, we should not live alone. So that might actually be the contradiction that you previously had or listened to before. Like, we monks, we should live alone. That's true to some extent. You should find your time alone, but you should not stay alone the whole time. That's the truth about the monkhood. So we are encouraged to eat together with others, meditate together in a room. There is no private meditation room. We have to meditate with other 100 monks. We have to be very mindful, and we have to care a lot about what other monks will be feeling. So that helps us with number one. We have many true friends. So as a monk, I'm just a normal monk. Even though I put over me an orange cloth, that doesn't actually make me a superhuman. No? I'm not becoming Superman because of this cloth. But somehow the way I live my life, sometimes I make mistakes. Other monks came and cheered for me. They gave me advices. They gave me comfort. So I have many, many good friends. Even though we are not related by blood, even though we are not the same physical, not physical, but like the same family, but we are really a family now. And second, understand the purpose. I have to come back all the time. Why am I doing this? Why am I a monk? That's because I wanted to meditate. That's because I really care about my inner peace. And that is when I can share with others my inner peace to them so that they can have peace as well. We need to make that recollection twice a month at least. Or my master said every day we have to come back to the purpose. So every day, if you can come back to the purpose of your life, why are you doing this? What is the meaning of what you're doing at the moment? You don't feel very much lonely. Okay. Number three, you help others. This is your heart. And if the directions of your love is always this direction, you need to depend on other people's love in order to make your life fulfilled. You're going to be lonely. So instead of instead of waiting for people who will give you love like this, now you change the direction. You try to give more. It's not going to be perfect. It might not be easy in the very first time, but you try to give your love, you try to make your life meaningful to others as well. The way of love is not only one direction anymore. It is two directions, bi-directional connection. And that is when, even though you don't receive love, you still have this direction. You still have any purpose, the reasons that you keep living, because you don't actually wait for anyone to make you feel happy, when you can become the happiness and also share with people around you as well. So help others, the third one. The fourth one, try to encourage yourself. So the directions of encouragement is this way. You don't need anyone to teach you. You don't need anyone to provide you encouragement, but you can correct yourself upon any mistakes you make. You can even say to yourself, I'm sorry. You can even say to ourselves that this is my mistakes and I have to be better. So it's not only about encouragement, but it is about how you can teach yourself to overcome many situations. And you don't need anyone to teach you. So that's the point. Because most of the times, we make mistakes as a part of our human being's life. We want to correct that, but we don't know how. We want to be a better person. We don't know how. We might feel lonely because we don't have anyone who can point out about our problems, about the directions we have to walk. But what if you can encourage yourself and show yourself the way? That will be better, right? So, as a monk, we have to do that as well. We don't actually need anyone to of course we need. I still need my master, I still need my fellow monks to help me, to teach me. But many times I have to really come back and evaluate about myself, whether they are like a full list. We call this list a list of precepts, a list of daily activities we have to perform. And according to the list, are we behaving according to the list? Is this list we have fulfilled, we have mastered? If we still haven't mastered, it means that we have to tell ourselves, we have to do something, right? If you don't actually wait for anyone to change you, to make you a better person, you don't very much feel lonely. That does make any sense? I hope so, right? We have comments. No, the purpose is complicated. Well, I'm going to share how you make the purpose more easier. How to make the purpose easier, okay? And the problems, many people still don't understand the purpose of life. So the number 2 is kind of tricky. That's true. And that's even though a person has everything, without number 2, they could feel lost. And if they feel lost, they feel lonely. They feel like, oh, am I alone? Interesting. So number 5, by doing meditation. By doing meditation. If you do meditation, you don't feel lonely. That's because you feel good. It's very simple. If you don't believe me, next time meditate with me, okay? When you close your eyes and you don't think about any problems in the world, and you don't actually care about any connections that you have with other people at all, the result is very strange. You feel really happy with yourself. And if you feel really happy with what you're doing, even that time, because meditation helps us find one thing: inner peace time. Inner peace time. Tiempo de la paz interior, right? See? Tiempo de la paz interior, inner peace time. Your time becomes inner peace. And what if you, every day, you meditate? At least 1 hour from 24. You have that inner peace already, and that inner peace is going to span across many hours in the day. It means that you can be fine over that 24 hours. Maybe just 1 hour of that inner peace plus the time that it will last, few hours more. You don't actually need anyone to make you happy. You don't feel lonely at that moment, especially those few hours of your time. And the other time, I'm not saying that, okay, you feel happy the whole day, you feel happy because of meditation 24 hours. That is, well, the purpose of our monkhood is kind of still far away. I'm still working on that as well. So for me, it's not 24 hours, but many hours. Many hours you can be with yourself, you can be with alone, you know. So there are 2 words here. I hope that you got the point, and I hope you probably have jotted down the very important points here. Loneliness. Loneliness. And being alone. Being alone. There are similar alphabets here. Lone, right? Loneliness and alone. But they are completely different. If you are able to be alone, and there's even another word, loneness. Loneness. A capability of being alone is not loneliness. Loneness is not loneliness. If you are able to be alone, and you'll be fine because you'll be happy with what you're doing. You feel really content. You understand the purpose, what you're doing. There is no need for anyone to show you that purpose anymore. You don't feel lonely. Many people can do that. Even though they have 0 friends, they can be all by themselves. But not all the time, I would say. So, sometimes people who live very far away, they get their relatives or their family visiting them. They feel happy, So even though you might be living alone for many years, but when people who are meaningful to you come and meet you and talk to you, you feel great anyway. So that's kind of everything fulfilled. But from the solutions that I share with you, from 5 of them, 4 is about yourself, 5 is others. Sorry, number 1 is others. So remember, do you remember the 5 tips I share with them how to deal with loneliness? Number 1 is friends. Okay. Number 2 is purpose. Number 3 is help others. Number 4 is encourage yourself. And teach yourself. And number 5 is meditation. Only 1 is about others, but the other 4 are about yourself. You have to do it on your own. And then you can do this. If you know clearly your purpose, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? What is the purpose of life? Why, even the most important, why you're born to the world? If you understand that purpose, you can be alone, no problem. But not the whole time, I would say. Even for monks, we lived in a temple, and in a temple there are many other monks. We have conflicts, but the Buddha prefers us to stay together. Because even though you are good in meditation, it's not 24 hours. Some of us could feel great for 10 hours in a row, or maybe some of us like more than that, 20 hours, but not 24. Very few can do it 24. But of course, they together, if you have 3 of them or 4 of them or 5 of this, you don't feel lonely. Okay? And now, the last thing that I like to share with you today, okay, the last thing. We have a question from author that doesn't meditation help people find self when they do not know themselves? Yes, this is what I'm going to talk about now. Benefits of meditation. Benefit of meditation. To deal with loneliness. For dealing with loneliness, okay? For dealing with loneliness. I started to get better writing on this chalkboard. It's a mindful board because you can't make any spelling mistakes. 6 benefits, okay? 6 benefits. Number 1, meditation helps remove wandering thoughts. Because usually our mind is used to thinking too much, and that sometimes creates unnecessary worries. If you don't have that worry, it means that you feel much happy, So this is your mind, this is your heart. Suppose that you keep thinking. Eventually, your heart or your mind will be full of thoughts, a lot of thoughts, and there will be no space for happiness. No space for happiness. So meditation helps remove our thoughts. After we finish usually meditation, our mind is so clear. Oh, that is when you have more space for happiness and contentment. Second, you enjoy the present moment. The present moment. Of course, sitting alone, doing nothing, eventually you learn to enjoy the present moment. And this is not only when you close your eyes and meditate. You will enjoy the present moment, doing what you're doing, in everything that you do. Even though there's something that you might not like very much, or this is not your preferences, but you can still enjoy doing that. So that's the magic of how you can, if you meditate and you enjoy the present moment, you can enjoy many other things in your life. And once you can enjoy many other things in your life, for example, you have 24 hours, and you enjoy very much already 10 hours, then there are still 14 hours that you might be lonely, but you sleep for 8 hours already, so 6 hours that you can be lonely. And you can fix that loneliness from other solutions, right? So if you increase the number of hours of you can be alone, you can enjoy your time alone, then you don't feel lonely very much, or you can find another way to fix the problem. And number 3, it helps you to become aware of your thoughts and your feelings. You can stop thinking about some negative. If you start blaming yourself, and if you keep on blaming yourself for 1 hour, that is when you start hurting your mind, hurting your thoughts for an hour. But what if you know that now I am hurting myself? And you can stop thinking immediately. You don't need to wait until 1 hour pass or 2 hours, or maybe for some people they have been blaming themselves for years. I heard that many people kept blaming themselves for years. for 10 years, for even a few decades. That's not very easy to fix. But what if you are aware of your thoughts, and every time you start blaming yourself, you cut it off. No more, no more, no more. Then you can choose to think of something more positive than something negative. Oh, why my friend doesn't call me? Now I'm blaming that. I'm trying to, I can be aware. Okay. So instead of trying to blame the friend, you call them. No problem, right? And that is how you can stop your mind from being negative. So be aware of your thoughts and be more mindful. And number four, understand the word, understand the nature. The nature in this sense is the nature of the world. That the world is like this. Things are getting up and down. It's not like other people don't care about you, but they also have their problems to deal with as well. That's the fact. But you usually don't hear or don't remember that very much. Oh, people, they don't call me. Maybe they forget me. They don't click like on me. And you found out later that they are really busy dealing with their health, dealing with their problems. They have problems as well. But the only one that you were thinking about was yourself, right? And if that happens, you're going to be very lonely because you felt like people, they need to give you love the whole time, which is not the case. And not only the nature of people, the nature of the world, your success, your fame, your wealth, they're going up and down, up and down. And these are situations that consider uncertainty in a life. And we can deal with that. Eventually, you can be fine. Because you think to yourself that, yeah, it's normal. This is how we understand the world. And if you can live with that understanding, you don't feel very much lonely because you don't actually have many doubts or many questions in your mind. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why is this not happening? Why is that not happening? Those questions usually trigger our loneliness. Okay? Number 5, love yourself. There's one feeling that usually happens a lot when people meditate. They tend to cultivate self-love. And that self-love will help them to understand the meaning of life. And they understand better about the opportunity that they have. Being alive is best thing that once you have realized that you are really fortunate to be alive now, that you have your blood, your flesh, and you can do something good for yourself and for others. You're not going to let yourself fall into the trap of being lonely when you have that understanding of the purposes. You need to use your time. They are learning less and less and less. Usually people who feel lonely don't understand that they should focus on the time that they have left. It's like, if you play a game, computer game, and you only have 2 hours just to play that game, maybe because of some reasons. In my country, there is a game shop, and you have to pay for hours that you can play. Like if you pay for $5, maybe you can play. Maybe you can do the gaming for like few hours. If you know that you don't have much time to waste, you probably will want to invest your time on doing something else. You probably will not think all the time and blame yourself and indulge yourself in negative feelings, right? So that usually happens when you meditate. You remove the thoughts, you enjoy the present, you be more aware of the thoughts, whether they're positive or negative, eventually, and you understand the nature of the world. Eventually, you love yourself, you love your life, you value the time you have left more. What we monks do is to contemplate on ourselves every day, every day. We are very fortunate to be alive. We're really lucky to have a life, but our time is running out. We have to contemplate on that. This is a very big topic that I will use another time. If you really like this, you share with me, okay? You put in the comments. I really like you to talk about that. If I have more than 10 comments, maybe very soon, okay? If I have less than 10 comments, that I really like to listen to you talking about that later, okay? And number six, find your true self. Yes, so this is the one that author came up with. Doesn't meditation help you find self when they do not know themselves? The thing is, in our meditation practice, there is even one word that is called true self that you can find within. Whenever you close your eyes and meditate, suddenly, with more, maybe not the word suddenly, but with more practice, with more regular practice, you will one day feel like, this is not myself, but there is purer self, better self, and I have a very confident feeling that is my true self waiting for me within. And eventually, there could become two of you. This is you, but inside is another you. And then you live together. And if you, for example, have a true friend, that true self could become a true friend. And they stay with you the whole time. You don't feel lonely anymore from finding that true self. This one is pretty deep, so I touched a little bit today. I hope you understand. So my example is like you have a very clever assistant. Maybe you imagine something like Siri. If you have an iPhone or iOS, you probably have Siri, right? Imagine that Siri can talk to you the whole time, and whatever you wonder, you have questions, you can ask that Siri. Or maybe Google Assistant. If you have Android, probably you have Google Assistant. That Google Assistant talks to you the whole time. Or if you have Amazon Alexa talks to you the whole time. Oh, how are you doing? And then you can interact with that Alexa. Suppose that you have that inside you the whole time, without you having to press your phone. You don't feel lonely, right? So that's how very, very long and deep meditation practice will help you and allow you to find your true self and live with your true self. You probably don't feel very much lonely anymore. And this is the principle of meditation that we, as a monk, we have to follow. We have to make use of them. We have to contemplate on the nature of the world, and the nature of life, and the meaning of the death, and that our time is running out. We can't be careless. We have to be careful. With that contemplation that we have to do every day, we don't feel like there is no time. There is time to waste for feeling lonely. Come on, we have 24 hours, and this is already 10:20, and then in today we have only 14 hours, even less, like 13 hours left. Can we just wait our time feeling lonely? No, because there's much more thing that we can do in order to make our life better, enjoyable, more meaningful to ourselves and others. If you can think about it this way, that is when you become the happiest person because you enjoy your life, you enjoy yourself, you enjoy what you're doing, you enjoy knowing the purpose of life. Oh, wonderful, right? So this is what I like to share with you, and thank you, Peggy, thank you, Kopal. Yes, I mentioned that if I have like 10 people here mentioned in the comments, maybe I will talk about that and the importance of that very soon, right? So we have already 2. Author, you meditated a lot, but you stopped since your automobile accident. You wanted to try it again and get back into that crystal meditation. But how do I meditate past my physical pain during meditation? Well, let me share with you that if you meditate now and the pain keeps disturbing you, don't worry, make it shorter. For example, if you, I'm sure at the moment you can meditate for 5 minutes. You do that, okay? Make it 5 quality minutes and the pain appears. But of course, during 5 minutes, you have to overcome and pay attention to the comfort, not the pain. And then later on in the day, you have another 5 minutes, and you have the 5 minutes, and if you do it for maybe 4 times or 5 times already, you have more than 20 minutes. You start with that. And every time, if you do this consistently, that 5 minutes of meditation is going to be better and better and better. And sometimes you don't think about the pain at all. And you'll be able to increase so that becomes 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes later, when you can pay less attention to the pain. Eventually, you have 2 things existing: the comfort from meditation and the pain. And you can choose to pay attention over the comfort, over the relaxation, and not the pain itself, okay? Don't expect that you can meditate for 2 hours straight or 1 hour straight at the moment. It's not going to be that easy, all right? So start with something very simple, like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and try to increase, but it has to be more than 1 time a day, maybe 2 times, maybe 3 times at the moment, okay? All right, I'm checking if you still have other comments. If you just arrived, you can share with me where you're from, your interests, you have any questions on the topic today. If there are like a question worth answering, maybe I make a separate video for answering your questions, okay, about this loneliness. All right, so for some people, I think the tips that we share today will help you a lot, especially if you begin your meditation. There's 6 benefits of meditation to help you overcome loneliness. If you practice meditation every day, you're going to realize one of these, and if you have more than half of it, I'm sure that is when you're going to be less lonely. I'm not sure you're going to be no more lonely, but less lonely is enough, right? Imagine you have 24 hours. If now you feel lonely 24 hours, not good, not good. If you feel lonely more than like half of your day, not good as well. Half is not acceptable. But if you feel lonely only 6 hours, then that is not good for your health. If you feel lonely more than half of your day, that is when the statistics says you probably will want to commit suicide or die prematurely. Many people did that. That's not good. If you feel lonely more than or less than 6 hours, not good for your health. But if you feel lonely just 1 hour a day, acceptable, okay, acceptable. Because most of your time, you don't feel lonely. You feel fine. So reduce the number of lonely minutes, lonely hours, to make it less, and make the other hours of the day more meaningful. And you fix the biggest problem in life. The news says loneliness is going to be the biggest problem of humanity in few years. So at least we don't fall into that group of people, okay? And if you feel happy, you don't feel lonely, you're going to make at least people around you be more happy as well. One thing a research says, don't get closer to people that feel lonely. Because if you get close to people that feel lonely, you're going to be affected. It's like that you catch cold. You can catch a cold from people who feel cold, who have the cold. But loneliness is the same. So maybe you stay closer to people who don't feel lonely and they feel happy. You can attract the positive energy. Okay? Don't expect anyone to make you feel happy, but try to be happy and share with people around you. Don't expect anyone to stop you from feeling lonely, but help people and stop them from feeling lonely. Your life is going to be more meaningful. That's the law of attraction, okay? Make sure that you attract. Maybe one day if you realize, oh, I don't have anyone around me at all, that is when this is the time you have to check yourself. Are you doing something wrong? Are you doing something not proper? Your behavior, your habits, you have anything negative karma or something like that, so that people are away from you. They are not away from you from any reasons, but you have to change yourself. Once you change yourself, they come close to you. Once your mind is beautiful, beautiful people will come close to you. That is the law of attraction. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's live, and we have one more question from Son, right? Or Son. It's a little bit off topic, but if I reach emptiness and I lost purpose of life, what should I do? If you lost the purpose of life, what about you think about this thing as a good sign that the purpose of life that you've been following throughout your life is not the right one? Maybe it is the time that you search for a new purpose of life that is more meaningful. Because I don't know your situations, right? But what I'm trying to tell you is that there is once in my life that I felt I lost the purpose of life as well. That is because the purpose of life that I had previously was not meaningful to me anymore. And that is the turning point of my life. So now I started a new purpose of life. I started to follow this mantra, which is a new purpose of life, and I'm really happy with what I am, who I am now. So think about it as a good opportunity. If you lost, or maybe your purpose of life you've been pursuing is not meaningful to you and you feel empty, find a new one, okay? Unless you are a monk like me and you said, oh, I'm lost in the purpose of life of being a monk at the moment, then we talk. You can make a private message to me. All right? So, thank you very much for today, for your attention. I really enjoyed these sessions. I hope you enjoyed too. And we see you next time. And if you really like me to talk about any topics, like today I mentioned that if you like me to talk about the topic of the day, please write in the comment and I will pick the topic that you like me to cover, and I do some research and I ask some other monks and I will use my experience and try to provide you some knowledge on that. All right? So I hope that you don't feel lonely. My blessing to you. May you be happy. May you be away from loneliness. May you find the purpose of life. May you have your inner peace fulfilled. May you be happy every day without delay. Today, now. Thank you.